double checking that I have sound. Yes, I do. And cool. So I am practicing my commentary, which I haven't done on a live run before, so I don't expect to PB at all. This is mainly practice, so I can showcase that maybe I will do this at an event, maybe. And also I haven't done a commentated run before, so it's just overall good for me, I think. So we'll see how I go. Hopefully not too much of a blunder happening. And I haven't done any kind of practice at all, so really got to depend on reading my notes properly and paying attention. And I will put this, well, I mean, I put all of my runs on YouTube, but whether or not they're public is a different question. So yeah, this will probably be on my YouTube channel for archival purposes if it's any good, and I can, I guess, go through it and see where I messed up and improve from there. So guess I'll start. So I am Little Crochet. I run Triangle Strategy on New Game Plus. I haven't run New Game at all, so I've run all 4 categories, so all 4 endings. And today I'm going to do commentary on the run itself. It's going to take this time to explain the Quietus mechanic because the first battle is a minute and a half in, so it's pretty quick. So Quietus is something that you bring up. You have 5 Quietus points. It's a separate menu that you bring up. There are different abilities that you can use. They cost different amounts of points. And they can alter the battle in different ways. So there's a few that we use quite frequently during the run. And I'll start explaining them in just a moment. I guess we'll start this now. So the menu does come up pretty quickly, but the ones that we use quite frequently are fleet-footed, which increases your movement by 2 spaces. There's Battle Cry, which gives you extra TP, so technical points, which lets you use abilities. It's like the mana system in this game. There is Critical Blow, which is a guaranteed critical. There's also In Tandem, which lets a unit move after your current unit's turn is done. So those are the basics of Quietus. And during this game, you have Serenoa. He is a force deploy on every single map. So whether or not he's useful on every map is a different story. But I do try to use him as much as possible when he is useful. You will get introduced to the 3 other main characters and Gila. Gila is a healer. She does not get used at all. There's Frederica, who is a red-haired Rizal. There is Benedict, who is a vassal. Is vassal the right word? Probably not. Retainer might be better. To Serenoa. Then there is Prince Roland, who is the Prince of Glenbrook, which is the main crown city. So here is the very first battle coming up. So we're at the pier. A bunch of bandits have attacked us. We were meeting Frederica, who is our fiancée, and let me, I guess, concentrate on what's going on. So we want to use Battle Cry first on Frederica and then Fleet-footed to give her extra movement. This is what most battles will end up being. So you cast Sunfall on a huge group of enemies to clear out a whole bunch. Frederica has a passive ability to give her extra damage during clear weather, so she's a powerhouse. I won't commentate this part so I can concentrate a little bit on what's going on. I almost forgot to in tandem Frederica. Yeah, so normally the Sunfall strat requires her to charge the ability first. So by using in tandem straight after, it allows her to move immediately afterwards and do what she just did then. You'll notice that I'm also skipping over a lot of text by holding the R button. Wait, I don't need to do anything. Why, Serenoa? This is fine. I will fix this in a moment. So, what was not meant to happen was Serenoa was meant to kill that guy, but did not. But that's fine. Frederica got him instead. Yeah, so there's a weird bit of RNG that happens there. I'm not sure what causes it exactly. Optimally, Serenoa would have killed that guy, and the battle would have been over before Frederica's actual turn. So you can skip cutscenes in this game, but you can't skip all of them. So cutscenes that you cannot skip are ones where a decision has to be made. So you choose between a set of 2 or 3 talking points. If a character joins or leaves your party, if there is an important piece of an important item that is shown. And there's a few extra little niggly bits, as in there's one where they seem a bit useless, like not much is going on, and I don't know what the explanation for that is. And the other ones that you cannot skip are when there is a big environment shift happening. So that will happen just after chapter 13, where we can't skip the beginning of the cutscene, but we can skip it after that big scene happens. Alright, so at this point in the story, it's pretty easygoing. We've introduced a lot of the major players. There's not a lot of tension going on right now. What is happening is, we're introducing a lot of the main characters in the story, or the other side characters in the story. We are about to head to the Crown City for a tournament. But before we do that, we are having a dinner at the Wolffoot Domain. So the Wolffoot Domain is Serenoa's home. And we are meeting with Dragan, who is Frederica's cousin, who is an important NPC, but does not unfortunately live for very long. There is a map coming up in is it chapter 3? Might be chapter 3, where we do try to use Dragan. He does one thing. Sometimes he doesn't do the thing we want him to, but I'll explain that a little bit later. So this is an arranged marriage between Frederica and Serenoa. So Frederica is Esfrosti, which is in the north. There are 3 powers in play here. So there is Glenbrook, which I've briefly talked about. There's Frosty control Iron in the north, so they're pretty cold up there. And then in the sands, in I think it's the southern area, there's Hyzant, and they control salt. So salt is important for living, iron is important for warfare. There was a war, I think it was 30 years ago, which ended due to the Wolffoot's intervention. And the reason for this tournament, I think, is just to foster good relationships with everyone. and also to celebrate the opening of the Grand Norzelian Mines, which is a joint venture between the 3 major cities. So here we see the king, I cannot remember his name, Roland's brother and sister, Franny and Cordelia. And then we also get Roland and Huguette in the party. The other thing I forgot to mention in the very first battle is that you cannot change out any of the characters, so you're stuck with, the ones that you start with, and you cannot change their opening positions either. This next chapter coming up, this next battle coming up, like I said, is a tournament. So we are fighting Hyzant. We meet Exarm and not Campsell. I cannot remember his name. He is a smarmy looking dude. And the other fight, I believe, is Glenbrook versus Aesfrost. So we don't actually see any of those fights. Let me get sorted here with characters and placement. So the character I subbed in was Quahog, so you use him a lot in New Game Plus. He has time powers, so he's able to displace enemies and move your units around. And he is very useful. You can pair him up with another mage named Izana. And if you use his stop ability with her lightning ability, you can do some pretty good things with it, which I will explain when it comes up. So, not sure if you noticed the AoE, but everyone will move into position, and we will be moving the last one into position as well with Quahog. So right now we're just AoEing down the 2 bosses there so that they have a little less HP. You want to in tandem Frederica now because we're about to move the last enemy in place with Quahog. She will kill everyone, there's just the last 2 dudes there, and we will finish them off with Roland here. The other thing that Roland does is if he moves 5 spaces, he would do opportunity attack on the enemy. I don't know what the rules are for him targeting if there's more than 2 enemies there. But he will hit an enemy, which is enough to take down the rest of the enemies there. You can use one of Roland's abilities to attack all of the enemies, but I found that there is a chance that he will miss. So I found it better to use a item, so a fire pellet there, to do an AoE instead, and that's guaranteed to definitely hit. So same thing with a lot of strategy games. If you attack an enemy from the side or the back, it does have increased accuracy. Roland is very well known to have very low accuracy, so he misses quite frequently, but he is the highest single attacker, single unit attacker. So he has the highest attack, and his ultimate ability does major physical damage to an enemy. So with Frederica, so he's usually a boss killer. He can take down bosses in one hit. And Frederica is the group damage, or does most of the group damage. So here we are seeing the scales of conviction, where you can make decisions based on where you want to go. So the default decision in this one here is where we want to go. So we want to go to Hyzant, which is Frederica's... it's where she wants to go. There's a better word for it, I just can't think of it right now. The other decision is to go to Aesfrost. Whichever you decide means that you will get a different character. You will unlock a different character. Because it's New Game Plus, we've already unlocked all the characters, so at this point it's just better decision to go to Hyzant, because the next battle is a defeat the boss battle. So you'll notice the last two battles were defeat all enemies. This next one coming up is defeat the boss, which is faster for the speedrun, so that's what we're gonna do. There are going to be a few maps which have different requirements instead of defeat enemies or defeat the boss, which are pretty fun and quick to do. And speedrun tries to utilize the fastest possible route. For the golden ending, there's certain maps that you have to do, or certain decisions you have to make in order to get it. So the first decision doesn't come up for quite some time, and I'll point it out when it does. At this stage, again, it's still fairly, well, it's pretty heavy story-wise and lore, but it's still alluding to what's to come. So this boss battle is defeat Plinius. So Plinius is wanting to leave Hyzant, even though Hyzant is perfect. Like, they worship the god, the goddess, the Hierophant. She makes decisions for everyone, and they're the best for the richness of Hyzant and good for all. Basically, definitely not a cult. There we go, and we're done. Sorry, there wasn't much to explain in that fight, but yeah, we still use Frederica to clear the boss. She still has really high attack. And that's basically it for chapter 3. There's lots of stuff that I haven't explained, which is accessories on characters. So Frederica has a Vanguard Scarf, which allows her to move first in every battle. If at another point she leaves the party, so she will unequip it and we will give it to another character, but at this stage she has it for a majority of the run. And a lot of other characters have ability booster accessories on them. So magic users have magic accessories to give them extra damage. Serenoa has a physical booster. Roland has a physical and an accuracy booster. And Frederica as well has got magic accessory boosters. A lot of other characters have got accessories that boost their speed. So obviously the faster you are, well, not obvious, sorry. So if a character has a high speed, they will move faster in the turn order than other characters. So Benedict has 2 speed bracelets, which gives him a higher turn order, high in the turn order, and additional turns as well. There are other characters like Medina, who we will use a little bit later. And Quahog has a speed bracelet and I believe a movement bracelet. So he has an additional movement on top of his regular, which I think is 6 from the top of my head. So what we saw briefly just there was the Rosellan village. So the Rosell are normally enslaved by Hyzant to work and get salt for everyone. But the Rosell here have found sanctuary just outside the Warfoot domain, or I think they're still in the Warfoot domain. So some escaped and were given help to build a village here. And the reason why we're here is Frederica is getting a wedding dress made, because, you know, they're meant to be planning a wedding and getting married. And right now we get our first glimpse of the Grand Nozellian mines. So we have Roland here, he's just fucking about because his dad thinks he's useless. And he's like, well, you're not doing anything else better, just check out this for me, please. And for some reason, there are Esrossi soldiers here. And we're not sure why. So this is the first out of, I think, 2 times, maybe 3? Be just 2, that we'll come across the Nozellian Mines map. And I will... Oops, be quiet a little bit while I'm doing setup. Alright, so we're going to do the same setup with Sunfall with Frederica, and we're going to move her around with a Lightwave Quietus as well. Because there is a big group up there, which we need to get rid of. Battlecry. Thank you, Murdil. So you'll notice here that Anna can do abilities twice. That is her special ability. Benedict has a lot of utility, so he can make characters go immediately after, like in tandem, or he can give characters the ability to do 2 actions on a turn. So there we let I was meant to in tandem Frederica. This is fine, we can in tandem her now. Medina as well has an ability to use items twice, but only if you select it. It does cost TP to use. All of the enemy units also have different stats, so a lot of the bulkier enemies like shield bearers and things like that, thank you Dragan, have lesser magic defense, so they're usually good for mages. There we go, that was perfect. Dragan did exactly as we wanted him to. So the bit of RNG involved in that map is that he might not actually attack the archer on the cliff edge there. It is a time loss if he doesn't. But it's not a lot of, well, I actually haven't timed it. I'll probably say, at a guess, 20 seconds. Which in the scheme of things is pretty big. On 9 out of 10 times, he does what we want him to. And unfortunately, that is the last time we do see him. He does get killed in that map. And on our way back to the city is when the drama starts happening. So right now, everyone is rushing back to Glenbrook to see what is happening. Because Esros shouldn't have invaded the mines, they shouldn't have attacked us. And this map coming up is a faster map as well. So the win condition of the map is to get Roland through to the city gates. So we are going to do a bit of abusing with the Quietus system to get him over pretty quick. And like I said, this map is going to go by fast as well, so once I go through it, I will continue my talk about what's happening in the story. What is going to happen before that though is I'm just going to remove everyone that will move faster than Roland. Which is everyone. Wait, we want... Oh, alright, so Benedict is going to go first, but what we want to do is give Roland an additional turn, so he does 2 actions on his 1 turn coming up. So, give him an additional turn. Just gonna use a bunch of Quietus right now. And it is clear weather, so Roland can actually move more. The interesting thing as well is with the Fleet Foot, it actually applies on his entire turn. And that's it. He's through. That's the end of chapter 5. There was a few different reiterations of routing for that map. So you can use Quahog to also teleport him over the barricade. Normally you'd have to break down the barricade. But using the Lightwave Quietus also works. And because of the 2-4 turn and Fleetfoot Quietus, it gives him the extra movement to be able to go through and escape really quickly. The other thing that we did there as well is we used Roland's ability Rush. So normally you would use that to attack, well, 3 enemies in a line if possible. But the benefit of that is he moves at the end of that line on the other side. So that's what we did there and got him through to the end. This next map coming up as well is also fairly quick. So the intended purpose is to open up the gate so we can escape the castle because we're being hounded by Esfrosti soldiers. So there is a lever that you are meant to open up to escape the drawbridge, and you are also supposed to clear the enemies off the bridge as well to make sure it's safe for you to escape. What we actually do is not that. So remember when we use Lightwave to move Roland past the barricades? We're going to do that again, except with Frederica. So to start off with, he's going to clear off an enemy. We are going to give her 2-4 turn with Benedict as well, but not just yet. We want to in tandem her first so that she will go next. So now we 2-4 turn Frederica. She's heading in next. Now we want to use a couple of more Quietuses, so Fleetfooted to give her the extra movement. Now we want to Lightwave her across this impenetrable barricade. Move her all the way up here and clear these 2 enemies. Oops, need to move her. And now that the map requirement is clear, we are done. And that's chapter 6 done. So the first 6 chapters go by pretty quickly, casually. That's not something that you would have thought of. I didn't find that strategy until much later when I was looking up different strategies as well. I think I actually came across that one on a Reddit thread. So, what's happening now is we are fleeing back to the Warfoot domain with Roland in tow. Esfrosti have taken over Glenbrook Castle, so Gustadolf, which is Frederica's brother, I believe, Frederica's uncle. So Frederica's uncle has taken over, so he's the Esfrosti leader. And he has brought his 2 kids, Phallus and Erica, with him to Glenbrook to take over. So they're currently residing in the castle. The king is dead, by the way. Sorry. Franny is also dead, who was Roland's brother. The only Glenbrook royal that is still alive is his sister Cordelia, who you do unlock as a playable character. She is also a healer, so she will also not get used. She does appear in one map, but that's about it. So, Aesfrost want Roland, and we currently have Roland in the Wolfwood domain. So there is a decision coming up, and an unskippable cutscene coming up. Here it is, where they're trying to say the pros and cons of keeping Roland, of sending him away, what that means. Their decisions in this game casually are very fun, and playing through blindly, doing how to run blind is what I would recommend. To learn about the nuances of everyone and to go by your own convictions and make your decisions as best as possible. So this decision is either keep Roland safe and the Aesfrosti will attack, or hand him over, and the result will affect what battles will happen. So here we are wanting to convince to keep Roland here. During the exploration phase of this map, you learn a lot about what is happening outside, what the people may want, and there are a bunch of collectibles that you can get as well. We already have all of that information. It carries over in New Game Plus. So we don't need to do any of that, and we can convince whoever we need to do what we want. So the current battle that we are going to have come up is that we want to keep Roland here, and we are going to fight off the Aesfrosti army that comes through. So the Wolfwood domain actually has a bunch of secret traps where there are oil tanks hidden in hawk statues, which if you break will release the oil and set a bunch of houses on fire. Not great for the homeland itself. So this is one of the key points that are required for the golden route. So if you choose to release Roland, you immediately meet that key. So there is a different battle that is fought in a different area, and that means that you've met that condition. The reason why we are doing this particular battle is not because it's easier, but the next fight after this battle is actually easier. The next fight's win condition is defeat one boss, which is very, very fast. In this particular fight, we cannot use any of the hawk statues. So if any of the hawk statues get used, then the golden route is dead. But I have come up with a way to not hit any of those. So I use this same route in the regular endings and golden route. It's safe for both. So once the battle starts, I will concentrate on getting units in place. And the battle itself should be fairly quick. We aren't going to be using Frederica in this one. I couldn't unfortunately find a way to utilize her. We are going to get rid of a lot of characters though. Alright, so coming up we are introducing Avlora, who is a general of the Aesfrosti army. She's a tough gal. And luckily doesn't do anything for us that turn. So here we are going to do the Quahog and Azana combo. So, like I said before, using that combination is great. So when everyone is... Hold on. Yeah. So, Azana's ultimate ability is to be able to use lightning on everyone. Unfortunately, that ability means that... Oops. I think I messed it up. I did. Yeah, so using the Azana's ultimate ability has a very low hit chance. So the reason why we pair her up with Quahog is that Quahog's stop time ability can stop on all units. So that's enemy and yourself. So when you use that ability, you can cast reverse time so that stop doesn't affect Azana, so that she can then use her ultimate and hit all enemies and kill everyone. I will concentrate on this just so I can get past this point. Apologies. The other thing that I do with Medina, which you may have noticed, is that her ability, when you use HP items, it grants them TP. So the reason why I had to restart is because I did not give Azana and Quahog enough TP. They need the TP to be able to do their ultimates. It also doesn't matter if Milo down there dies. It's actually more optimal if she does, because then she doesn't take up a turn in the stop time. Serenor does nothing, unfortunately. Oops. So we bring Nav down here. Do an AoE. The reason why we don't use Frederica is because the enemies aren't in that nice position there to AoE them all. And because she has the Vanguard Scarf, it makes it harder to predict where the enemies are going to go. So the other additional thing with the Azana Quahog stop combo is that we see just that now it's raining on the battlefield. So that is one of Azana's rights. So here we are using stop time. And we need to turn back time on Azana. The reason why we need to use that right is that ups her lightning damage. And the other additional thing that we will be doing is giving her an item to boost her magic abilities as well. So that is an enchanting spice. Rite of Thunderstorms does take a turn to cast, so we do need to wait for Quahog's turn to come back before anything else does happen. But this combination of using the Rite of Rain, upping her magic ability once more with the Enchanting Spice, she also has 2 magic bracelets up, is enough to kill all of the enemies at once. Why this is important is because there's normally reinforcements in this map. If you kill all the enemies in one shot at the same time, it means that none of the reinforcements will turn up. So that is a fast way of clearing that map and not having to use the fire traps, which makes the route safe for both golden route and regular, one of the other 3 endings. If you also use the fire traps, there are frame drops. The game does struggle to get through it. So if you chose to give up Roland, you fight one of the other domains in a hayfield, and then the fight after that is a fight at the docks in the rain, with either Hyzant or the Frosty. This fight coming up is House Telior, which is another domain in Glenbrook. Coming to say, hey, you guys are totally on board with us and we need help, and we're totally not going to do anything weird or suspicious, and you guys can trust us. And we can't. We really can't. We know they're acting with suspicious, so we don't trust them, and what we're going to do is decide not to help them and hand over Roland to them, because they want to take Roland in order to curry favour with the Frosty, because House Telior, unfortunately, is not very good with their army. They don't have a good army. What they are good in are their resources of wine. So they produce fine wines and things like that. So their army presence isn't huge. Their military presence isn't huge. Whereas the military presence in the Warfoot domain is big. So we have enough confidence to refuse their proposal. Sorry, just eat some water. And like I said before, this battle coming up is a defeat 1 unit. So the boss unit, his name is Rufus. We actually fight Rufus 3 times in the run. So this is the first time that we'll come across him. He is a mercenary being employed by House Telior. I will bring up the other 2 times that we beat him up as well, but he really shouldn't pick a fight with us. He was hired by House Telior because they've got a lot of coin, but he's backed the wrong horse. There is some setup that you have to do because we did remove Frederica in the last map, so we will have to pop her back in this current map. But again, like I said before, the next map's fight is really quick. So it's still not an issue. We can't defeat Rufus in 1 turn. We still have to take 2 turns, but we are still using Frederica both times. We are going to be using, in tandem. We're not going to be using Sunfall Strap because it's 1 character. It's just, unfortunately, there's not much you can do to boost her attack anymore because she's going to stop. So the point of the map is to fight your way down from the Warfoot domain gates and defeat Rufus, but we have a bunch of stuff to help us. Whoop. I selected and then deselected Frederica. My bad. So yeah, we're going to skip all of the enemies and barricades happening up there. We are just going to move Frederica down with Light Wave and attack Rufus. Blazing Chain still does the most attack for single target. You shouldn't attack her. Yeah, he does do a little conversation. That's a nice little thing as well in this game, is that characters will have conversations with other characters if they have some kind of relationship with them. Which is a nice little detail in a lot of the maps, depending on what characters you have deployed. And it's neat to get the additional little snippets of their backstory. So this next vote coming up is important for the Golden Route. What is happening now is we have a proposal from Hyzant to deliver some salt. Some secret salt. Some salt that is not above board. And the reason why we're doing that is because we've expended a lot of resources. We are at war, so we can't depend on Esfrost. Glenbrook's been taken over. We basically have no allies, but we have a weak ally in Hyzant. Hyzant are obviously using us to meet their ends, which is they want some suspicious salt smuggled to Esfrost. And we're trying to decide whether or not we should do that. So what the decision should be for the Golden Route is, well, this decision is the same in both New Game and New Game Plus, I believe, and also for Golden Route and regular run. So we're going to be delivering the salt to Esfrost, which doesn't agree with some people. Some stuff that's happening in between is that Roland says, I should probably disappear. It's probably not smart that I'm still alive because they can still chase after us, and unfortunately for my poor sister Cordelia that is stuck there, I don't want her worrying about me, etc. So what's happening is we are faking Roland's death. So there is a bounty on Roland's head at the moment. So you find a body, they find a body, which is dressed similar to Roland, but doesn't look like him, but has a very important signet ring, which signifies that it is royalty, and that's how they determine that it's Roland's body that has washed up ashore. There is an unskippable cutscene coming up where you see Roland put on a hat and mask. So the hat and mask belongs to his mentor Maxwell. Here it is. And the reason why we can't skip it is because the game thinks that a character has left. And in this particular case, we've lost regular Roland, we now have Master Roland. Now, the bad thing about that is, unfortunately, he unequips his accessories. So in this game, when a character, or when a unit leaves your party for story reasons, they unequip the accessories that you've put on them. Casually, this is great because you would normally be upset that you've equipped these rare items, these rare accessories on your characters, and they've left your party, so now you can't access them. So the unequipping of the accessories is great casually because you can re-equip them to other units. In the speedrun, it is not good because you have to re-equip him. And in the Golden Route, you re-equip Roland 3 times during the run. Alright, you just need to convince old Benedict here to deliver salt. So, we re-equip Roland several times during the Golden Run, and that is because on Roland we have a critical necklace on him. So that critical necklace ups his damage to any critical he deals, and an accuracy accessory on him as well because he is prone to missing. If you don't have the critical accessory on him, we can't use him on certain maps because he just doesn't do enough damage, unfortunately. There's not much we can do to mitigate that. It's just, it is what it is. Sorry, I am just double checking my notes here. This next map coming up is we are going to be fighting the bandits that we met in the very first battle. So we are traveling north to Esfrost. We are going to be taking shelter in an abandoned village, and we get attacked in the middle of the night and they steal our shipment of salt. So in order not to lose that shipment, we attack them back. And that is what is currently happening in the story. Now, this map I tend to mess up quite frequently. Hopefully I don't today. I am a little bit rusty, so we'll see how we go. There is a new character that we are going to bring into this map, so his name is Jens. He is the blacksmith in the encampment. Not that we ever go to the encampment at any point during the run. So the reason why we use Jens is he has an ability to place a trap on the ground, and a spring trap, sorry, and it displaces enemies. So we do that because the enemies on this map are spread out. It's a pretty big open map. I will just get this set up. So apologies again, as I am doing this. Wait, nope, that's not right. Now it's right. Almost messed it up, but I got the setup. Yeah, so we use Jens to displace an enemy. The reason why we don't use Quahog is displacing Trish, red-haired archer on the roof there. So here we are going to stop Trish from moving. And then proceed with the battle as per normal. Here you will see... Oh, I forgot to... I was doing okay, and then I forgot to, Hold on. Sorry, I do need to load. I never get a perfect, Chapter 9. That's just how I am. Yeah, so we do need Jens to move after Frederica to stop Travis from moving away. Was what I was trying to explain. So, missed opportunity on Trish. In tandem, Jens. Now I can continue. Apologies. I will get better, I promise. Yeah, we place a spring trap there to knock Travis down. And we don't want Trish moving, that's why we stop her using a quietus there. So we're gonna move Trish closer. We give Serenoa 2 turns to defeat her. The character I'm using now is Maxwell. I apologize that I haven't introduced every character, but there are a lot of characters and a lot of names. But that is who he was impersonating. Who he currently is impersonating. So Trish should be defeated on this turn because of the 2-fold turn that we did. There is some weird camera shifting that goes on in this map. Not much we can do about it, it's just how this map is. Sorry, I am forgetting my buttons there. So Travis is now down. Yep. Yeah, this is the weird, annoying camera shifting that is happening, which happens every time on this map. We're just gonna move Azana up on this cliff here so that she can get rid of that archer. And we bring this healer up so that Serenoa can clear him. Archibald is great because he has a very high reach with one of his abilities. There we go. And that's the map done. A little bit messy. But we got there in the end. Like I said, chapter 9 is a chapter that I struggle with quite frequently. So chapter 10 coming up is where the path diverges. So on a regular run, you do not want to reveal a secret. So currently Roland's secret of being alive isn't known by anyone. So we are delivering the salt, we have reached Aspharos, and we are delivering it to a character who I can't recall the name of right now, who is Dragan's dad. So he's suspicious of us because Dragan, his son, was killed in the Grand Nozellian mines. And we've actually been framed for that murder. So what we need to do in order to convince him that we're not the bad guys is that we're going to reveal Roland's secret that he's still alive. So if we weren't doing a Golden Route run, we would keep the secret, but because we are, we're going to reveal the secret. So this is a key to the run itself. And we should reveal the secret. Lord Svarog, that's his name. And this will also change the fight that you do as well. So it is faster to keep the secret because you get an arena fight with Rufus actually. So we only beat Rufus up twice, I think. Yeah, so we only beat Rufus up twice in Golden Route, but we beat him up 3 times in the other runs, the other endings. So in this fight coming up, we are fighting at the gates. So there is a spy in Svarog's quarters who's working not for Svarog, but for Gustadolf, and he knows the secret. So we're going to get rid of the spy, and we're going to fend off other Asphrosty soldiers. The win requirement in this map is a clear all enemies. Unfortunately, we do not get to use Svarog at all. I think that's true for a lot of the maps. A lot of the NPCs, unfortunately, do not get used because they're either too far away, or they're too important, or they don't... that you can't depend on the AI to do what you expect them to. So in this particular case, Svarog is too far away to do anything. So he will just take up a turn. I'm just going to concentrate again. Yeah. Yeah, so this map has a lot of verticality. As you can see, there is that giant gate there, and we are stopping these people from getting the secret out. There is some RNG with how the enemy AI moves as well, but hopefully I have done enough testing to be able to stop that.
職務を全うする。徹底的にやれ。
参ります。この高さ狙います。
情けは禁物です。この手で行きましょう。
行くぞ。行ける。行きます。
Medina.
お願いします。学んだ力、今こそ焼き尽くします。
手加減なしです。一気に。
Maxwell behind.
今だ。
頑張ります。褒めて褒めて。
さて、狙いは定めた。
So that mage usually goes for Frederica by default. Now this is where the RNG comes in with where the enemies move. So hopefully with how I've placed all of the units there, they should form up in a nice big clump. That is not what I wanted you to do. That's fine. So normally all of the enemies would be dead by now, but that is clearly not the case. But he will be now. Am I winning? I think I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I was not expecting to PB at all. This is just practice because I haven't done any practice at all. I've been doing a lot of routing lately. Okay, so we won over Svarog. He trusts us now. He gives us the money for the salt, which is why you can't skip this cutscene. And now Hyzant thinks we have done what they want us. Well, they think they've got us under their thumb, basically. So what is coming up next is Hyzant, because we delivered the salt for them, think that they can blackmail us. What they want from us is the Rizal that are living in the village. So they want the rest of the Rizal to come back to work for them as slaves. And the decision point that is coming up is whether or not we defend the Rizal from Hyzant, or whether or not we hand them over. So in this decision, we are going to defend the Rizal, and it's because it's faster. So if we defend the Rizal, the next fight gets skipped. If you choose not to defend the Rizal, you fight again House Telior and Rufus once, and then again in Chapter 12. So by defending the Rizal in this upcoming battle, is we skip the Chapter 12 battle, and it instead becomes a exploration where you are trying to find hints about why the Rizal are here and any secrets that they may have. So the secret that they have in the village is some rock salt. They have a pink salt rock. And that's a pretty big deal because the reason why Hyzant have a monopoly on salt is because they have stated that salt cannot be found anywhere but in the source, which is where they keep it safe. So the Rizal are slaves there to atone for their sins, and they will never apparently atone for their sins. So this is what we're seeing here. It's a very sad section. Where you learn about their history and their supposed wrongdoings. So the reason why the pink salt rock is important is because salt can be found outside of the source, and Hyzant don't want that to happen. So because salt can be found somewhere else, it means that they shouldn't be having the monopoly on salt. And other nations could benefit from it. So the best vote here is we get to skip the vote because it's fast. So we are definitely defending the Rizal. This is the second time that we've, like I said, this is the second time that we will fight House Telior and Rufus. In the other endings, it will be the third time that we fight him. Now, there are reinforcements in this upcoming map. It is slower, unfortunately, to do the Quahog and Ozana stop time lightning combo. So this route was figured out by Grovar, who is another speedrunner of this game. And I have made some slight adjustments to it to suit what I do. I believe it is still the same amount of turns that units take, and slightly less setup. I need to add anyone. Yeah, I am doing a lot of pausing because I have, like I said, I'm quite rusty. So we are going to do the regular start of this battle by using Sunfall on the big group down there. Oh, I was meant to intend beforehand. I don't think that should ruin anything. Yep, that shouldn't ruin anything. So the reinforcement should come up now. So the other ability that Medina has is fast-acting medication. So it's very similar to Benedict's now, except it takes some items that I've stockpiled. So this is one of the few instances where we can depend on the NPC doing what we want them to. So we do want the NPC there to attack Rufus. And he will definitely always do that attack with the positioning. The rogues here will always move in the same fashion, regardless of where you are positioned. It's just the archer that does something different. So all of the remaining NPCs here will be wiped out by Anna momentarily. We'll be using a couple of other characters to put them down a little bit. And we'll also be using Quahog to get that remaining archer in place as well.
これでどうです？
We're gonna be using Anna to get rid of this big group here. Because we gave her twofold turn with Benedict earlier.
狙い
We just mash through the items here. And last but not least, we will finish off with Maxwell getting rid of the remaining two. You know what I've done wrong? I didn't change my splits to be Golden Path. But the splits aren't important because I'm not expecting a PB. So the estimate should actually be just under 2 hours, which is why I'm like, why am I going so badly in this run? And it's because I've got the wrong ones, the wrong splits up. The last thing I forgot to change with setting up stream, because it's been a while and I do apologize that I haven't been streaming lately, just haven't really been in the right headspace for it. So this is the exploration that I was talking about a little bit earlier. Again, because I found all the clues, I don't need to go through and do them again. We just offer the pink rock to the Elder, and that is it for chapter 12. So the next battle that comes up will be a little while away because there's a bunch of exposition that happens. So the next map is another fast map where we do not have to defeat all the enemies. It's a map where we have to remove all of the enemies in an area. So the next upcoming choice is a choice 3 split choice. So you can, we're trying to win back Glenbrook Castle, and there's 3 different strategies to go for. So we want to get rid of the Frosty soldiers inside, and everyone, so Frederica, Benedict, and Roland have given their 2 cents on which strategy should be the best. So Benedict's strategy, before that, we have Hyzant on our side. And Hyzant are giving us an experimental weapon, which is a magic bomb. And they're saying, hey, we can give this to you guys to help you get Glenbrook back. And we are deciding what the best way to use that bomb is. So, Benedict's Benedict's strategy is to blow up the dam in the Telior domain to flood the city. Frederica's plan is to, I believe, blow up the bridge, which will do the least amount of damage to the city. So that basically all the Frosty army is trapped inside the castle. The third option from Roland is to use the secret tunnels in Glenbrook to sneak in and destroy a boat, an Frosty boat, which they would use for transport, to then go after their generals. I believe that's the gist of all 3 decisions that's coming up. And the fastest one is Benedict's route, which is to destroy the dam because of the aforementioned map that is coming up, which is clear out all of the enemies in an area. The other maps are a lot longer because they are route the enemy options. So we go with this one because it's fastest and we can use Quahog. It's getting there, I promise. I will briefly explain the next map after this one, just because there isn't a lot of time to talk about it between. So after we eventually blow up the dam, we will come across Thalas and Erica, cousins of Frederica, and you will get a sneak preview of one of my favourite songs. You only hear a couple of not long of the beginning of it in the battle, because you beat them up pretty quick with Roland. So this is all setting up for the actual bomb itself. My favourite part in this exploration is that normally, casually, what you would do is get rid of all of the light bulbs because we're going in at night. We're sneaking in at night to place the bomb. And Serenoa's job is dressed as a merchant to get rid of all their lights. But we didn't do that in the speedrun, and he says my job here is done when he hasn't done anything. And it just reminds me of the Sailor Moon tuxedo mask meme. And it's my favourite thing. So we're about to head in now. So this map is going to go pretty quick. We're going to get rid of a couple of other fast characters that were moved before Quahog. We're going to use, again, Benedict to 2-4 turn Quahog. We're going to use a bunch of Quietus to get him to move across the map. And last but not least, we're going to use Quahog's Distorted Space ability to get the enemy out of the area that they are sitting in. There's currently one enemy in the area. And... whoops. There, now we're ready. So yeah, we get rid of Frederica, Anna, and Medina because Frederica's going to move fast first, and Anna and Medina are fast characters just in general. So, this, like I said, this map's going to go fast, and I will just concentrate on doing it.
体が軽くなるようじゃ。
There are reinforcements that are going to turn up, but we don't care about them at all. This one guy in the tower is out. That's it. Map's done. Yeah, there's a lot of lead up that happens before you can clear the map. So as I said before, when we have to re-equip Roland, so unfortunately because he has returned to us as normal Roland, it doesn't mean that he re-equips the items that he had previously. So we will need to re-equip him before the battle starts. This is one of the unskippable cutscenes coming up, where you will have to see the city get destroyed by the wave of water released by the dam. So we can't skip this cutscene until the water has washed over the city. Here we go. I'm sorry. All this destruction. Such devastation. I was considering adding in was not my intention. But I stopped myself. So, the strats. Hey, Pix. Welcome on in. There's no new strats here. I'm just practicing commentary while doing a run. But welcome on in anyway. So yeah, this is the first time that we will have to re-equip Roland. Because unfortunately, yeah, he's lost all of his stuff and refuses to put it back on. And I believe we don't need to move anyone, but I'll move Frederica there for safety. So, like I said, the start of one of my favourite songs in this game is going to come up very, very briefly, but we'll hear a longer version in a different chapter. So the movement here is we are moving Frederica here so that we can tempt Erica to come out. And same with Alice as well. So they should line up pretty neatly with where we want them to go. We're going to be using Roland again to defeat everyone. And we're going to use 2 for turn. So... Whoops. Come on, battle cry. So here we are going to get rid of Erica first. There's going to be the start of the favourite song. And that's it for those two. And that's it you get for the song. So this next chapter, chapter 15 coming up, is another one where we have a 3-way split decision between Benedict, Frederica, and Roland. So they each want to do a different thing. So Benedict wants to go back to the Warfort domain to check back on Lord Simon, which is Serenola's dad. Frederica wants to go back to the Rosellan village to check on, to see what's going on. So the Rosella's still there, but there's been rumours of bandits attacking or lurking about in the area. And the third option with Roland is Roland wants to stay. I think we're currently in the Crown City. So Roland wants to stay in the Crown City and try to... what's the word? There's a lot of unrest happening because the king is dead. Esfrossi ruled the kingdom for quite some time, and now Roland's back claiming he's alive when they thought he was dead, and he's trying to quell the citizens' unrest, and there's a bunch of political things happening behind the scenes and things like that. So those are your 3 options. So because we're doing the golden route, we want to go back to the Warfort domain, so we want to see dear old dad. In the other endings, the faster route would be to take Roland's option, which is to stay in the Crown City. So the fight in the Crown City is very short. It's a defeat 1 boss. And the fight that we're about to go into is a defeat all enemies. So it is, the golden route in general is longer overall. There is a lot more fights that you have to do just to meet the requirements to get the ending. And the reason why these battles and decisions are important is because you are gathering evidence and information about how to balance everything together. Even in New Game Plus, even though you know all of this information, the battle points and decisions are still important to do. You can't just, unfortunately, skip over them and do all of the easy ones, unfortunately. Patry is too fast. How's he in both places? I know. That was something that bothered me a little bit as well. So Patria is the boss you fight in Roland's decision. But you also fight him in Benedict's decision as well. So there's the royalists that he is the leader of, basically. and he's done a bunch of scheming and things like that. So if you fight him in both the Roland and Benedict decisions, so it's kind of weird that he's in both places supposedly at the same time. But I think the implication is that wherever he currently is, so if you fight him in the Warfoot domain, he's conspired back in the Crown City, and if you fight him in the Crown City, he's conspired back in the Warfoot domain. So that's at least my thoughts on it. So, because Frederica and Roland have left, they have again unequipped their accessories. So that means that we will have to re-equip Roland afterwards, and we will actually need to re-equip Frederica. It's important in one of the fights, or important in the upcoming fights, I should say. So here we are celebrating the return of the party, and at this party are a bunch of assassins. They're after Lord Simon, however you pronounce it. So, luckily we're here to stop this assassination attempt. Oh, and in all of the endings, in all of the paths you choose, there is a different character that joins you. So that's true for the other ones as well. So if you go with Frederica, or if you go with... Alright, I'm just going to concentrate while I get all these characters in place. New Maxwell, we need Anna. Goes here. I thought the setup was too fast, and I was correct. I forgot to re-equip Quahog with a Vanguard Scarf. This is what happens when I don't practice and don't really read my notes properly. Because I have it in bold to re-equip, I just forgot I was getting ready for setup. There we go. Now, I did initially use Lord Simon in this fight, but he wasn't dependable enough, so now we are using Quahog instead. I am doing real bad, guys. I apologize. I moved Quahog too far. I was only supposed to move him up one spot so that Patriot doesn't move. Fleet Foot is not super important. It's important for everyone else though.
準備は抜かりなく。
しっかり考えよう。これで
Yeah, this run is purely practice for me, so I will hopefully get better in time.
頑張ります。
What does Medina do?
ようやった。
どうぞ。
回復しました。お守りします。ついてこれますか。トロワーズ。
So yeah, I won't be doing a lot of commentating during the actual battles itself because I tend to mess up quite a bit when I'm talking during them. But in this map, this is the only time that you will see Corentin. The reason why we use Corentin is because he has a big AoE as well. And it's to get rid of that remaining group there. So obviously we can't use Frederica because she's currently not on the team. So we have to use Corentin instead. Oh my god. Did mess up a little bit with Milo. I was meant to use Fire Pellet there, but I will fix that up. It's fine. So yeah, he has a pretty big AoE happening here. The other biggest AoE in the game itself.
取り物がさあ侮ってもらっては困る。俺はそんなはずは。
お役に立てるなら。これで。
So normally the fight would end with Anna here, but like I said, I did accidentally mess up with Milo, but that's I will kill that healer later. Pretty sure you can reach Maxwell, but just in case. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so after this battle, Lord Simon still unfortunately does die. And he reveals a secret before dying. So the secret is that Serenoa isn't actually his son. He adopted Serenoa. Serenoa is actually the son of the king and his mother, whose name I cannot recall currently. So Serenoa is actually royalty and is Roland's half-brother. So there was I think she was a barmaid who the king fell for, and he got her pregnant. That was Serenoa. So in order to protect Serenoa, to protect the barmaid, whose name I can't remember, and her child, he took them in and adopted Serenoa. So the other things that happen in the fights, so there's a bunch of revelations that happened with Roland, and Frederica finds a book that her mother wrote and left in the Esfrosty library, which Trish and Travis had. They stole it from Esfrost and brought it with them, but they couldn't open it and didn't know what was going on. So, as that title card said, meanwhile in the mines, so there's something happening in the mine. There's a big secret in the mines, which Lord Dragan was killed over. And that secret is that there is a salt deposit there. So during all of this, Esfros basically said to Hazant, we don't need your salt anymore. And the reason that they attacked the mines to begin with is because they wanted to control the salt that was coming out of there and mine the salt. So we are investigating the mines. There's some suspicious activity happening. So we're going down there. So this is the second time that we are coming across the mines map. It is a lot bigger than the previous one, so they've done a lot of digging. There is a gimmick in there. Chapter 16, the mines map, is not great casually. So there's a bunch of bombs in the mine, and they will go off after a certain period of time. And what you need to do is either disable the bombs or kill all of the enemies. So, in the speedrun, we are killing all of the enemies before any of the bombs go off. And we're going to be using Quahog and Azana again to kill everyone before so that no reinforcements will turn up. Otherwise, you'd have to be using like the carts. It also takes a turn to call a cart. There's the mines are fun, generally speaking, but having to do it casually 3-4 times to get all of the endings without doing the speedrun struts, not great. It's a long map, and there's 2 different reinforcements that turn up. So I will try to concentrate on this so I can get it right. Oh, he's got speed still, that's right. Yeah, all good. So what we are wanting to do is we want to chip off some damage from some enemies so that when Azana does her big hit, it will kill everyone at once. Oh. That might mess up a little bit, but it should be fine. So we're moving people about so that they can, they can chip off the mages. They generally have high magic defense. And we're giving 2 full turn to Trish so that she can chip off some of the other ones. Generally, swordsmen and rogues have pretty high magic or physical defense, so we want to try and chip those down. I almost forgot to reposition someone up there, but I did save it in the end. So we want to tempt that swordsman to come down so that Serenola can chip him down as well. The fun thing about the minecarts is that you will chip enemies as you run over them if they happen to be standing on the rails. So yeah, that's just a fun little thing that happens as well. So again, you can see here that we are setting Azana up for her Rite of Thunderstorms. Don't you love it when there's raining underground? And here we are doing stop time. And about to get that set up. So we just need to wait for everyone to pass their turn, so it gets to Azana. She will do her charge. On Quahog's turn, we'll use In Tandem on her, and again use an Enchanting Spice to up her magic attack. And that will clear all the enemies in just a moment. And that's the map cleared, with no bombs going off and no reinforcements. So chapter 17 is the turning point of the game. It's where we would do a menu boss. So chapter 17 is basically choosing one of the endings if you didn't get all of the key points for the golden ending. So there's Roland's ending. So he wants to side with Hyzant, get rid of Esfrost, and keep everyone under their thumb and spread Hyzant's teachings to everyone to live in peace, which is basically enslaving the Rizal forever. Benedict's ending is to use the salt, allow everyone to mine for salt, and allow anyone to be able to utilize it in some way. So it's a free market, and they no longer have that monopoly on salt. And Frederica's ending is to grab the Rizal in the village, free the Rizal in Hyzant, and run away to a land known as Centralia, which has just been heard in legends and in her mother's diary. So those are the three endings that you choose normally. So because we've done all the requirements for the golden ending, we are not going to choose any of those, but there is a menu we need to go through and a bunch of things of information that we need to select. So all of the key information is required to answer these questions that will be coming up in Serenoa's mind. And then after that, we'll be solving everyone's problems all at once. This was my favorite part in doing the golden route the first time, being able to split up the army into 3 separate units. I thought it was a really cool feature, and trying to route this golden ending has been an ordeal in itself, just because it's you can only choose the units at the point afterwards, and if there is a unit that is required in a different fight, you would have to restart from that point again, so reshuffling all of the units. Oops, I did not beat the menu boss. It's the only one where it defaults to yes, you want to save, and you can't select no. So here Serenoa is thinking, and we need to answer him. There must be another way. Alright. Second. Third. First. Second. And then the scales are all aligned. We can do all the endings. So I will be quiet as I'm doing the setup for this, just so I can get everyone in place. Ergbot, you only collected now? Thanks, Ergbot. So because I don't have the... oh, right, you get Avlora here. You can only get Avlora in the golden ending. I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, right, because I'm not using the right splits, it does mess it up a little bit, but like I said, I wasn't depending on it. So, I need to re-equip magic bracelet. Times 2. And we need to re-equip Roland with, again, critical and accuracy. And then we need to move a bunch of people around. That is a cute emote. So yeah, we're basically splitting up into 3 different regiments at the moment. So Benedict's regiment is dealing with a different, or each regiment is dealing with a different boss. And luckily for us, Benedict's fight is at the Warfoot domain, and we can actually use the traps now. So the reason why we didn't use the traps in Chapter 7 is for this very specific reason. Frederica is freeing the Roselle in Hyzant, and Roland is getting rid of Gustadolf in Esfrost. So that's what the basic thing is happening in each of the 3 different fights. 2 of the fights are fairly easy, so Benedict's and Roland's fight are fairly easy, again, like I said, because we can use the traps. Roland's fight is easy because we just need to defeat Gustadolf. Frederica's fight is unfortunately the longest and is the 3rd of all the fights, which is why trying to route this was especially difficult. So in this particular battle, we only need Quahog and Benedict. And what we want to do is bait the enemy into a fire trap. So you do actually get to see the fire traps in action in this fight. And it's a bunch of waiting while the units are going in place. And luckily for us, the setup is fairly easy as well. So we just want to get rid of everyone, basically. Sorry, Geo, I forgot to get rid of you. And we're gonna go over here. So yeah, we place Quahog there so that we can get all of the enemies to move across. So in front of those 2 houses is a fire trap, and we're getting as many enemies over as much as possible. And the ones that do not go into the fire trap afterwards, we get Quahog to get the rest of the enemies in with this distorted space ability. So Exarm, luckily, or unfortunately for us, doesn't do anything. It would be better if he did do something like move across, but unfortunately he doesn't. Twofold turn. And there is something that I will need to do, which is going to seem a little bit weird. There is a bug that happens with Fleet-Footed. So unfortunately, because I use time compression on Quahog, if I use Fleet-Footed now, there is a chance that the bug will happen. So I'm just going in to select it, just so it selects something else, just so that it doesn't happen. So we are moving the remaining healer and Exarm in. And because Benedict is moving next, he will defeat all the enemies in this trap. And that's the map done. Normally in this map there would be some reinforcements that turn up, but because we are destroying all the enemies with the same attack, that doesn't happen. The reinforcements don't turn up. He's too smart. Yeah, X-Arm is too smart. In order to get him to move, you would have to attack him to make him aggressive. So unfortunately he isn't aggressive at all in that fight. So next up we have Roland. And in this fight we are using Jens. So again we're going to be using the spring trap to move Gustadolf into the position where Roland can actually hit him. And we are also going to see Avlora showcased in this fight. Not that she does much, but Avlora has a passive ability called Lone Wolf. So the less units you deploy in battle, the higher her stats are buffed. What that means is that even though she isn't normally a fast character, because we're only going to be deploying 3 units in the next map, her speed is going to be buffed. And it'll be like she has the Vanguard Scarf equipped, so she'll actually move first. So we're going to use Avlora to bait out Gustadolf. And then we're going to, yeah, like I said, again, use Jens to trap him in and then finish him off with Roland. So it's a fairly fast map overall. Not a lot of waiting around, thankfully. There's just some RNG that does happen, which hopefully I have been able to offset. So sometimes Gustadolf will not come down, and I'm hoping with the way that I've placed Avlora with her back facing towards Gustadolf, he will come down. We are getting to the very, very end of the game now, so we're getting pretty close. So Avlora should move first. There we go. So normally it would have been Gustadolf moving first, but because of that, we need to move here and face here. And we want a spring trap. Here. There we go, perfect. So now we want to battle cry. And the re-equip that we did with Roland is not super important here because we use critical blow to give him the guaranteed hit. But it is important later, just because, yeah, we need the extra damage and it saves me having to forget to re-equip him when it's important. So that's why we re-equip him at that point, because there's no more further movement in the team. And that is that fight done. Last fight is Frederica. And this fight will take a bit of time. Just because we unfortunately can't use the Zana Quahog setup because Quahog was used previously. Also, Lightning heals Camcel, who was the boss in this upcoming fight. So even if we could lightning everyone, he would still be alive. We actually see Hosobara being used in this map as well. So Hosobara is the barkeeper in the encampment. And she is a healer and a attacker as well. The reason why we use Hosobara is she can actually move characters around with her catapult ability. So we're going to be using that to push Nav into the right position. And hopefully I can get this right the first time. The difficult thing with this map is there is water, and water slows you down, and there's also verticality as well, so that also gets annoying to deal with. I am not selecting Medina. You can tell it's been a while since I've practiced the map because that took a lot of time. But I will be concentrating on trying to get this right. Does Medina not move? What did she do? Okay. I'm not sure if that is correct. That's... I'm sure that's fine.
お守りします。ついてこれますか。とくと見よ。私です。負けられない。
Apologies while I don't actually talk a lot during this. But,
私に任せときな。はあ、食いしばんな。やれそうな気がする。出番かね。逃がさんぞ。やってやる。僕の魔法で。
終わらせましょう。お役に立てるならあなたの番です。究極の炎を。
なかなかの手だれ。
仕留めます。背を貸せ。クレオ。捕らえた。
お守りします。
こ
私の槍は全てを貫く。
さてと私を終える。ほら
お任せください。どうだ。
どこに行こうかな。えい、頑張ります。これです。
焦る時ではないぞ。逃がさんぞ。
Okay. A little bit of hesitation, but I got there in the end. I would normally go to my next thing, but then I won't have enough things left, and it'll end the timer. So I'll keep the timer running for a bit. Yeah, I still need to practice. I really need to, I guess, keep steady on the practice here. So, coming up, good inset local time of day here. Good time zone to you too, Rohojin. I believe it's morning. I hope you've been able to have some sleep. I know you've been struggling a bit lately. But it is evening here. We are at the pointy end of my speed run. So here we fight Exarm for the final time. We are going to be utilizing Azana and Quahog here to get this fight over and done with. So this is a very big open field that we're fighting Exarm in. Benedict's ending, you will come across a similar fight with Exarm. So we are basically removing a lot of characters that we put in.
わかりました。僕が行きます。
You're on 3 nights of actually sleeping. Gee, they were actually good sleep. Very good. I am glad to hear it. It's nice to be able to good night's sleep.
行くぞ。これはありがたい。
お役に立てるなら。どうぞ。どうぞ。
勝つぞ。
So here, we are actually going to use Roland to team up and do a bunch of stuff. Okay, yeah. That is perfect. So unfortunately, there's no way that those reinforcements will not turn up. It's a timed thing, so they will turn up regardless. But the rest of this fight should be fairly quick. It doesn't actually matter if Roland dies at this point. It's not important. Again, it is optimal if he does, because that is one less character that will have to move. So just gotta wait for everyone to go through. Again, use Thunderstorm, up in tandem, Enchanting Spice, and that will be it for this map. The good thing is that just due to the timing, it is a lot faster. There's not a lot of waiting. I would have done a split earlier, but like I said, this is not the right timings, and I am not intending to submit this to speedrun. This is a commentary practice. So this upcoming map has my favorite battle music. There is a large cannon that we did get from Lord Svarog. That was what he was building in secret. And we're going to use that to take down Hyzant's walls here. So this next fight we are fighting Lila. She is also a time mage. She's actually Quahog's mum. And this map is fairly large. There is a lot of enemy units. It is a defeat all units battle, unfortunately. So we do have to go through and attack everyone. And there is a little weird thing that I do here where I equip Roland with a speed amulet. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a way to utilize this map without it. I have been doing some testing offline though, so I might be able to make it a bit better, but for now we're just doing the way that I have found that works for me. Okay. I'm going to be moving a bunch of characters around, so apologies again. I'm going to be fairly quiet during this. Medina stays. Nov and... wait, no. They're all set up. Eureka, Benedict, Nov. Okay. Oh. Almost forgot the speed. Whoop. Okay. Yeah, we're almost done with the run, guys. Quite a bit of mess ups, but I will improve over time. And like I said, this battle has my favorite music in it, and you will hear it for longer. It's not this one that's here, but it will come up. Yeah, I think there's something I could probably figure out with this map. But we'll see. Now, move. Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of testing and things offline, and there's a lot of stuff that I want to try and figure out still. Here we go. Here is going to be the start of the music. And luckily it doesn't stop when Lila dies, which is what normally happens. Yeah, normally when you defeat a character that is the source of the music, it stops. But in this case it doesn't, which is great.
どう攻めるか。
Wait. I missed a step. I won't reload. That is going to take too long. I will fix this in post. Do I use any more quietus? Okay, so normally I would can I wonder if this will work. We'll find out. So normally I'm supposed to use Battle Cry first on Frederica and then
頑張ります
give her TP. I wonder if giving her TP after the fact will
究極の炎
work. Oh, it does. Interesting.
狙います
Um,
狙います
yeah, so Sunfall does more damage the more TP that Frederica has. So if you don't actually have so if you don't have full TP, then her damage isn't as high as it could be. But I used Battle Cry after, and it still resolved itself. Yeah, so the Sunfall damage is based on the TP. That's good to know. Upstairs GT music? Yeah. Alright, so we are going on to the final chapter here. And this is where we find out that Hyzant are not good. The Hierophant is an automaton who is being controlled by Idor. Yeah, learning lots of interesting stuff here. And luckily for us, this battle is defeat boss, so we're going to be using Roland. There is a strat here where you equip Roland with the Obsidian Anklet to give him some boosted damage, which is what we're going to do here, because who needs accuracy? There is a chance that he will miss, so we'll see if it works. Roland here. Roadhog here.
「もう一度頑張りしますよ」
So yeah, he is a bigger character here, but Idor will die like anyone else.
出番だな。
There is a, I think, 87% chance to hit here. 88. So there's a chance that Roland will miss.
貴様の最後だ。
We did it, guys.
なぜ
I did skip a bit fast, but yeah, like I said, it's not intending to upload to submit this to speedrun. It was a commentary practice run. A lot of mistakes, but a lot of things learnt. And gonna be doing a bit more testing, I think, with Lila's fight. Using opportune attack to break the invulnerability. No, so Idor doesn't have invulnerability until he takes his first turn. So in the battle before he actually, so at the very start of the battle, he doesn't have invulnerability at all. So if you look carefully, or if you go back on the VOD, you'll see that Roland's attack on Idor does chip him. So with the chip damage and the critical necklace and the obsidian anklet to again up his damage, all of that combined is enough to kill him. So if you didn't equip the obsidian anklet on Roland and kept the accuracy, he would definitely hit with the 4 dragons. But with the chip damage and 4 dragons, it's still not enough to defeat him in one hit. So the safety strat in that fight would be to use Anna. So Quahog will go first and then Anna will go next. So you would use Anna to go over and take him down a little bit, you would still then do In Tandem and Battle Cry on Roland and to finish him off. But yeah, that's it. I will be hopefully streaming again next Thursday. I don't foresee myself not being able to. I will finish up here, so we'll swap over to the end screen.